You know that feeling, right? That frustrating thing where you know exactly what you should be doing, but somehow
Yeah.
you just don't do it.
Oh, yeah. It's not that I don't know what to do. It's that I don't do what I know. It's such a common thing.
Exactly. And that's why today we're diving deep into W. Timothy Galway's The Inner Game of Tennis. It really gets into that exact problem.
It's a great choice, actually, because, on the surface, it's about tennis, but what it talks about really clicks for people way outside of just, like, sports.
Right. So our mission today is kind of unpack why it got so popular, what the core message really is.
Yeah, and pull out the main takeaways and sort of explore how it's meant to help you, the listener, maybe achieve a bit more. Not just on a court, but anywhere in life.
Okay, so let's start there. Why did a tennis book become such a big deal? What is it about this inner game idea?
Well, I think it's because Galway really put his finger on something universal. That mental battle we all have, losing focus, getting nervous, doubting yourself, beating yourself up.
Yeah.
Those things mess up our performance way more than just, like, bad technique sometimes. He basically says every activity has an outer game, against the opponent or the obstacle.
Right, the obvious part.
Yeah. And then there's this inner game happening entirely inside your own head. And if you want mastery or even just satisfaction, you have to pay attention to that inner game. It's about overcoming those mental habits that hold you back.
And central to that is this idea he has of the two selves. That sounds really key. Can you break that down?
Absolutely. So Galway says you got self one. That's the conscious part, the voice in your head that's always talking, instructing, judging, trying to control things. The ego mind.
The commentator.
The commentator, exactly. And then there's self two. That's the unconscious bit, the automatic doer. It's the part of you that actually performs the action, often without you consciously thinking about every little step.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the book really is that the relationship between self one and self two is, like, critical. It's how you turn what you know into what you actually do. Performance tanks when self one interferes too much.
Okay, so self one is often the problem, even when it thinks it's helping. That makes sense. Galway has some stories about that, doesn't he? About people trying too hard.
He does, yeah. He noticed as a tennis coach, sometimes giving really precise instructions actually made things worse for the student.
Really?
Yeah. Like the student, Dorothy, he told her to focus on her follow-through. And the harder she tried, the more tense she got, like face scrunching up, muscles tightening. She was overthinking it.
Right. Self one overload.
Total self one overload.
Yeah.
And then there's this other guy, Paul, total beginner. Galway just hit 10 forehands, told Paul to picture it, and then just let him try. No real instruction.
Oh.
And Paul basically picked it up just by watching and letting his body, self two, imitate the image. Galway said images often work better than words. Too much conscious effort gets in the way.
Wow. So, okay, if self one is the issue and trying too hard is the problem, how do we fix it? What's the first step in this inner game?
It starts with letting go of judgments. That's like skill number one.
Letting go of judgment. So not telling yourself, that was bad or that was good.
Exactly. Because as soon as you label something good or bad, self one fires up, right? You start overthinking, getting tense. Galway uses this great analogy of a rose seed.
Okay.
You wouldn't yell at a rose seed for not being a rose yet, would you? You just give it sun and water. You nurture its natural process. He says we should treat our own learning like that. Just observe the errors. Don't judge them. See what is.
Okay, so observe, don't judge. But how does just observing lead to improvement? It feels like you need to correct mistakes.
Well, the idea is that simple, non-judgmental observation gives self two the raw data it needs to make adjustments naturally, without self one's frantic interference and criticism.
Ah, I see. You're trusting self two to learn.
You got it. And this leads to what Galway calls the master skill, effortless concentration. Peak performance happens when the mind is still, not empty, but quiet, focused.
Consciously unconscious, I think he calls it.
Yeah, that's the phrase. It means putting your attention fully on what's happening right now. In tennis, maybe it's watching the seams on the ball spin, or listening to the exact sound it makes hitting the strings, or feeling the racket in your hand.
Okay, so being present.
Totally present. That lets self two do its thing without self one constantly interrupting.
And obviously this isn't just about tennis. I mean, you can see how that applies everywhere.
Absolutely. These skills, quieting the inner critic, focusing your awareness, observing, without judging their goal no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, like giving a presentation or learning a new skill at work or even just having a difficult conversation. That internal chatter can really derail things.
For sure. Self-one jumping in, oh, that sounded stupid, or are they judging me? It creates tension, makes things harder. Galway's point is that learning to manage that inner game helps you perform better and, honestly, probably enjoy things more, whatever the outer game is.
So wrapping this up for everyone listening, the big idea from the inner game of tennis is that quieting that judgmental self-one, that inner voice, and trusting your natural ability, yourself too. That's how you unlock better performance and maybe even more potential.
Yeah, it's about letting go of the struggle, in a way.
So here's something to think about. What if you reframed competition not as beating someone else, but as seeing challenges as opportunities to learn about yourself and grow by navigating those inner
That
obstacles?
was a powerful shift.
Yeah. So think about it. What inner game obstacle in your own life right now could you maybe start to tackle by just letting go of self-one's judgments and trusting self-two a little more?